Composer Gloves here, and this is the 21st video in the Kontakt from the Ground Up tutorial series. And today we're going to be talking about groups. We're going to be talking specifically about group start options. So I have a harp here. Sounds very beautiful and nice and wonderful. And we're going to look at its group start options. Actually, you know what? Oh, no, this will do just fine. So if we move around our harp, you see we have these different sample groups, and by clicking these red keys down here, we could switch between them. So if we look at our, right here we have our selected articulation, and if we move around, we are moving between them, right? And so this is called the key switch. We talked about this earlier, and it basically says use this group of samples, use that group of samples. Well, one way to set up key switches is using group start options. So group start options are basically really particular ways to allow you to control how your samples are interpreted by Kontakt. So if we have our group start, if we use the always, which is down here, it'll always work. So then we have this logical operator right here. What is that? That sounds like crazy. Well, this will always sound always. Okay, so there's no condition that says, okay, now trigger this sample. It'll always sample. But we have this first condition that's on key, and we'll talk about these different conditions. And it's got a range. So if this key is hit in this range, then this group and it can always sample. So it has no other condition. Then it will sound, and we will hear our sound. And so let me go to the correct key. So I'm on normal group right now, and it is working. So that is what that is. If you have this, if this condition is met or this condition is met, it'll sound. And if this condition is met and not this condition, it will sound. So it's just it just triggers between samples. I get some weird results sometimes. They don't always behave the way I expect them to. So, and this is for like really advanced sample libraries, so I don't exactly use this all that much. Then we have group starts. Okay, so let's go down this. So always, with always on, it will just always sound. It like does not care. It will always sound. With start on key, you give it a key note. And basically when you hit that key, so down here we have these red keys labeled as such. If we hit that key, now this sample is pulled up, this sample group, and it will play these notes. Then you have start on controller. So if you have a controller of some kind, CC1, continuous controller, and you give it some sort of a MIDI signal in this range, it will switch to this group. If you have now cycle round robin, this is where things start getting really cool. If you have, like, let's say you've got a piano and you've gone really above and beyond in your mapping editor, you have multiple samples for the soft, loud, and really loud, but you've also got multiple samples for different hits in the same dynamic range. So you have like 5 different samples for medium loud and 5 different samples for medium soft. Sure, your sample library is huge, but your piano is unparalleled in level of detail, right? So how do you get it to switch between those samples? That way, if you hit a key, the reason why is if you hit a key in the mid-range like 5 times, you'll hear 5 different key hits. They'll all sound just a little bit different, and it allows it to sound really, really like a real piano. So the way you would do that is you'd go to cycle round robin, and it will go through, see position and round robin chain. It'll select the samples in your group, and it will cycle through them on that note. So that is like way super duper cool. Totally mess with that. Useful, very useful for percussive libraries. Maybe I suspect Damage has this. Not 100% sure. Let's find out real quick. But not loop manuals, single loops. It's really useful though, because then you get this sense of realism that you just would not get because a percussive player would not hit the drum and get the exact same sound. Even if they were like the best drummer in the world, they would have problems. So nope, they don't have it. They have them on just always. But there's that option. And some sample libraries actually feature it, and they brag about it. And if you don't know what it means, the bragging sort of goes to mute. They're like, it's no point. But if you do know what it means, they're like, oh crap, these people made a freaking boss library if they went round robins. So that's what round robin does. And if we go over to cycle random, it will just select random. I've never used this function, but I assume it just selects random notes from random samples from your group. I'd probably cross zone because the group is a group of zones. So I've never used random before. If you do, let me know how it works out for you. It'd probably be nice if you just have a bunch of drum samples and you just want it to move around randomly. Sure. And then I know slice trigger has to do with an old version of Kontakt, not useful, or it shouldn't be used really with this one, because these other ones are just like a million times better. So that is what group start options are. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any knowledge bombs, drop those. And have a blessed day.
Everybody's